All right, so moving on to module 3, we're going to talk about some of the other things that you can do. All right, so moving on to module 2, we're going to talk about some of the other things that need to get done in order to create the kind of business you want. Like I said, it's my last system, LAST. First thing we did was talk about lead generation systems. I went over quite a few of those with Facebook Branding Domination, our free sign FISBO program, the Ultimate Open House, and video landing pages that sell. Those are some techniques to generate leads. Again, we're trying to figure out how to drive traffic. The more traffic you drive, the better and simpler the system will be, because the next thing you got to do is set appointments. I always let people know, without tracking, without having a way to know what's going on, which is the T in this process, you're not going to understand whether it's a lead problem or a you problem. The you problem is you have enough leads and you're not converting. If you don't have enough leads, there's no way to even figure that out. So I've given you a way to generate massive leads in the first module here. And the second module is how to convert, so that you can turn these leads into actual appointments. And then from appointments to signatures, which is the S in my last system, and then the T, track those transactions from lead to close. That's what it takes to be a six-figure agent and triple your listings. So any of these steps that you're not doing, you need to employ those as soon as possible. Implement these things in your business and it'll make a huge difference. But what I'll talk about today, or at least in this module, is setting the appointments with the right prospects. A lot of this has to do with the fact that most people set appointments, but they spend a lot of time on the phone and they spend a lot of time showing people that aren't even qualified to buy. So if they're not qualified to buy and you're trying to send them around as in a car, or send them to new builds or wherever, and they're not qualified, you're wasting pretty much everyone's time. So if you're not setting the appointments with the intent to qualify them, actually pre-qualify them, then you're not doing enough. And so part of what I do is make sure that you do qualify them. Now you got to remember, 90% of what I preach is, it's not if, it's when. So the concept isn't to just disqualify people rudely and make them feel like they're worthless because they can't qualify for a home right away. These are people you're going to nurture in your pipeline. And the word nurture is very appropriate. If they don't qualify right away, then put them in a position where they can qualify later. So when I talk about setting appointments with the right prospects, I literally talk about using my ABCD lead nurturing checklist. And I'll get into what's covered in that checklist and what the ABCDs are. So basically the A is setting the appointment. Ask the right questions so you can set that appointment. Most people don't know what the questions are, but once you get used to asking the right questions from a script, then that's the difference. So I'm going to basically have a script for you to use to figure out exactly what to say, what not to say, and you need to practice, practice, practice. The next thing is build rapport. As I've mentioned in many of my lectures, the Ford formula is probably the best one that I've learned, although building rapport should come natural to you at some point. I like to say the Ford formula, even though I've added an extra F, meaning football. So you talk about football in Texas, that seems to be a big deal. So it's football, family, occupations, recreation, and dreams. So you find one of those things that you have in common, or something you both like talking about. And then from there, you tell a story about it. You tell a story about your kids, your family, a vacation you just went on. After finding out that someone had just gone on a vacation too, you guys both went to Mexico, or you both ended up in Vegas. You tell a story about Vegas, you talk about your kids and you in Vegas, and they're going to probably share stories about their kids in Vegas. And guess what? Now there's rapport, there's a common ground. They're going to be a lot more comfortable with you. Like I said, the 3 pillars to get someone to actually want to work with you is to know you, like you, trust you. That's the whole process behind the branding we talked about in the first module. So if you're going through all the trouble of branding yourself, generating all these leads, and yet you're not taking the time to build rapport, you've just done all of that for nothing. And that's 90% of the reason why most people who can't convert leads into appointments is because they can't build rapport. And if you can't build rapport, they're definitely not going to go from appointments to signatures, or what I say is contracting. So you can't get them to sign a document and be your client if you can't set the appointment. And if you set the appointment and you can't build rapport, then you're obviously not going to convert them from appointment to client. So to get from lead to appointment requires rapport. To get from appointment to client requires rapport. If you're not doing a very good job of that, then forget about overcoming objections, because that's the number one way to do it. No matter what techniques or strategies you've been taught, if you have good rapport with people, they tend to overlook whatever short falls they see. It's more of, hey, we trust you because you seem to know what you're talking about, and we like you. So that's what you want. And as long as you come across that way, most people you work with aren't going to have a problem. And then you have to collect the client's information. If you're good at building rapport, this is kind of a natural thing to do anyway. So you build it with the ABCD lead nurturing script, and you're going to get a copy of that along with the lead nurturing checklist as a download. So from there, the only thing left is to decide, really, is this person someone you want to start working with today or somewhere down the road, 6 months to a year from now? And that's where the drip campaigns come into play. You have client relationship marketing tools. You got autoresponders. Some have both. You have top producers in the real estate industry. You have ClickFunnels. You have KV Core. There's many out there that many people use, and all of them believe that they're working with the best tools available. Bottom line is, you need to get something that automates for you so that it follows up with your clients no matter what category they're in, whether they're buyers, sellers, tenants or landlords, or commercial, residential, whatever it is. You need to have some system that follows up with them. And when you do that, this process becomes really simple. Now you can generate a lot of leads. That process is automated. Then from there, you have your appointment setting, which you can weed out quite a few folks with the right autoresponder slash CRM. And I will get into that when I talk about how to nurture your leads with automation in the third module. But that's really the key. We'll get into a lot about automation in the next module. But for now, we're going to get really a lot deeper into this appointment setting idea using the lead nurturing checklist. And with that, we'll get going and in this particular video, and I'll see you in the next video.